The ancient Egyptians. Probably the most famous ancient civilization of them all. Extensively researched, excavated, and documented. The archaeological data collected and cataloged regarding this mysterious ancient people far exceeds any other. A worldwide fascination with a group who flourished at the feet of some of the most amazing and yet baffling structures on Earth. Attributed with their construction, yet it is difficult to see just how or why they did not document such a monumental task. A civilization whose lifeblood, whose most precious and valued jewel was not bought with money or even made of gold. It was a river, the Nile. The ancient Egyptians were a highly advanced group, and they shared an affinity with water manipulation, a possible clue to the construction of the pyramids. Although The Jewel of the Nile is known by most as nothing but a fictional motion picture, starring such characters as Michael Douglas and Danny DeVito, there does actually exist a thing, an instrument, which the Egyptians undoubtedly held in a similar regard to the giant green emerald sought within the film. Known as the Nilometer, thousands upon thousands of people from all over the world visit Egypt each year, and nearly all overlook this once most invaluable of instruments. Between June and September, in a season the Egyptians called Akhet, high within the Ethiopian mountains, enormous volumes of snow which had accumulated throughout the long winter melts with the quickly changing seasons, sending a torrent of water into ancient Egypt, causing the banks of the river to burst, overflowing onto the flat desert plains. Amazingly, the Egyptians had figured out that by measuring this forceful annual flooding of the surrounding lands, they could accurately predict the following year's crop. During the flooding of the Nile, rich fertile silts brought down from high within the Ethiopian mountains are dumped upon the land. This silt was then used by the farmers that year to grow the crops for Egypt. By measuring the amount of floodwater, they could accurately tell how much plant food would be available throughout the year, therefore being able to foresee the possible onset of a famine many months in advance. This, of course, absent one of the curses of Egypt, or more precisely, locusts. The Nilometer not only measured the height of the floodwaters, but also their clarity. If it wasn't for this invaluable tool, the ancient Egyptian culture would never have flourished to such a degree. Clearly an extremely important tool, which not only indicates their in-depth knowledge of natural cycles, but indicated a strong affinity to water. Technological methods of lifting heavy objects may have been possible with the use of water. By manipulating the fact that it is a liquid, an acquisition of in-depth knowledge of, quote, containing and draining, end quote, given time, one could have undoubtedly created wooden machines capable of lifting many weights in many ways. Regardless of these studies, the Nilometer is a remarkable contraption, and one which clearly deserves more attention.